So, have you ever looked at one of those big, successful companies and just thought, how do they do it? How do they stay ahead of the curve, constantly cranking out new ideas while other companies just fizzle out? Well, I'll tell you, it's not some secret sauce or a stroke of luck. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the disciplined system they use. Let's get into it.
Right, so how do they pull it off? Is it all about just hiring a handful of brilliant geniuses? Or getting that one lucky break? The reality is, it's way less about luck and a whole lot more about discipline. It's definitely not about sitting around waiting for a lightning bolt of inspiration to strike.
Yep, you heard that right. The most consistently innovative companies, they treat innovation just like fitness. They don't just hope to be in shape, they build a dedicated system, an innovation gym, where they train every single day to build up that creative muscle. And today, we're going to walk you through their entire workout plan.
Okay, first things first. If you go to a gym, how do you know if you're actually getting stronger? Well, you track your progress, right? Your weights, your reps, your speed. Innovation is exactly the same. You just can't improve what you don't measure.
This right here, this is the foundation of the entire system. Top companies are absolutely obsessive about data. They use this comprehensive scorecard to keep an eye on every single aspect of their innovation efforts, which we can really break down into 3 key areas.
So let's start with the fuel for your workout. These are your input metrics. Think of this as all the raw energy and materials you're putting in. We're talking about stuff like the number of new ideas coming into the pipeline, or the resources you're dedicating to them. A classic example of this is Google's famous 20% time. That's a direct input of employee hours dedicated to brand new projects. Without quality fuel, you can't even start the workout.
Next up, we've got your technique, or what we call your process metrics. It doesn't matter how much fuel you've got. If your form is terrible, you'll just waste energy or, get injured. This is all about how you innovate. How fast are you experimenting? And more importantly, learning. How well are your teams actually collaborating? And a huge one, how quickly can you get a great idea out to market? This is where execution is absolutely everything. And finally, the part everyone really wants to see, the results. These are your output metrics. This is the muscle you've actually built. Now, the really crucial thing here is not just to track these numbers, but to see the story they tell when you put them all together. How your fuel and your technique directly lead to these tangible results like ROI, market share, and happy users. That story is what proves the workout is working.
Okay, so you're tracking your progress, but let's be real. Sometimes you develop bad habits without even realizing it. That's why pretty much every good athlete has a coach or a trainer. And in the innovation gym, that's your internal audit. It's a chance to get an objective look at your technique. So to put it simply, an internal audit is just a scheduled, structured checkup. It's really designed to answer 2 simple questions. 1, are we doing what we said we would do? And 2, is it actually working? It's not about pointing fingers or placing blame. It's all about spotting weaknesses before they snowball into major problems. Now, what's really fascinating here is just how structured this whole process is. This isn't some random spot check. You plan it, you define it, and you select impartial auditors to get that objective viewpoint. But notice this. The loop only really closes with reporting and, most importantly, acting on what you find. That final step is such a powerful reminder that an audit is pretty much useless without a real commitment to change. That's what gives the system its integrity.
And this just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It shows exactly why that impartiality is so important. I mean, think about it. When a team assesses itself, it's just human nature to have blind spots or to reinforce old habits. But an objective audit, that brings in a totally fresh perspective. It's designed specifically to uncover those hidden flaws and to hold the system accountable. It's really the difference between looking at yourself in the mirror and having a professional trainer analyze your every single move.
So, you've got your workout data, you've gotten feedback from your coach. Now it's time for the big picture review. This is where top management steps in to look at everything, all of it, and decide on the training plan for the next quarter.
And just look at everything they review. This is not just a quick glance. They're digging into the scorecard data we talked about, the results from those internal audits. They're checking if the innovation efforts still line up with the company's main strategy and asking, do our teams have enough resources? It's a complete 360-degree health check of the entire innovation system. I think this quote just sums it up perfectly. The metrics in the audits, they give you a super clear picture of your past performance. But this management review isn't about looking backward. It's a forward-looking, strategic meeting to make those critical decisions about what comes next.
So the output of this big meeting isn't just some report that's going to sit on a shelf and collect dust. No way. It's a set of concrete decisions. They identify specific opportunities for improvement, and they approve changes to the whole system, whether that means a new process, a bigger budget, or a shift in focus. It is all about action.
Which brings us to the final and I'd argue most important part of the workout, actually getting stronger. All the tracking, all the auditing, all the reviewing, it's useless if you don't use it to continuously improve.
And this is such a key distinction to make. Continuous improvement really has two sides to it. Yes, of course, it's about fixing problems when they pop up, but it's also proactive. It's about looking at your strengths and figuring out how to make them even stronger. It's about correcting that little wobble in your technique before it leads to a massive failure down the line.
So when something does go wrong, a project fails, a process breaks, the best companies follow a really clear, disciplined process like this one. First, they contain the problem. Then, and this is key, they dig deep to find the real root cause, not just the surface-level symptom. They implement a fix for that root cause, and finally, they circle back to make absolutely sure the fix worked and the problem isn't going to pop up again.
And the ultimate goal of all of this? What's the whole point? It's to integrate all these pieces, the tracking, the auditing, the reviews, the improvements, into
one single powerful system. And when that happens, something pretty amazing occurs. The innovation gym becomes self-improving. Every project, every success, and yet even every failure becomes data that feeds back into the system, making it smarter, more efficient, and way more powerful over time. This is how these companies build a competitive advantage that actually lasts. So let's end on this question. I want you to think about your own workplace. Are people just exercising, running around, being busy, trying new things without a clear plan or a feedback loop? Or are they training, following a disciplined, systematic approach that's designed for continuous, measurable improvement? The difference between those two? Well, that's everything.